This is Tank's Vlog for November 18th, 2018. We are wrapping up the day in sports. We're brought to you by Allow Me to Be Frank, the weekly podcast you can hear on SoundCloud and iTunes. Be sure to listen. You have so many great episodes. We've done this over a year now. We have great episodes. Last week we previewed my birthday with Stu Feiner. Now, as a special bonus, you could go on my YouTube channel, or you could look up the On This Date on Barstool for November 17th, featuring the Heidi Bowl. The production team, with Curtis Ward providing the editing, did a brilliant job with my narration of the Heidi Bowl. So please check it out. And let's get ready to look at what happened on Saturday in SPRTS land. In college football, we're down to the nitty-gritty. Next week is rivalry week. This week was cupcake week. And, well, not everybody played cupcakes. Notre Dame did not play a cupcake, but it looked like they played a cupcake because they just absolutely demolished Syracuse at Yankee Stadium. Now, of course, Notre Dame did not look like Notre Dame. Those uniforms, come on, Notre Dame. I know you want to pay tribute to the Yankees. The jerseys were fine. The pinstripe pants were fine. But please, gold helmets. Always got to stick the gold helmets on. No matter what Notre Dame does, they need a gold helmet. Otherwise, they don't look like Notre Dame. Alabama was in full cupcake mode, playing the Citadel. And apparently, they took the first half off as they were tied 10-10 with the Citadel. Of course, 27 points in the third quarter. And then it was same old Crimson Tide with a 50-17 win. Clemson also got off to a slow start against Duke. But after trailing 6-0 after the first quarter, the rest of the way, they scored 35 unanswered points, and they're undefeated at 35-6. So the top three teams are all still 11-0. Michigan also had its scare. They trailed at the half, but in the second half it was all Wolverines as they beat Michigan 31-20, and now head into the big showdown with Ohio State at 10-1. Georgia, well, they played a cupcake and they feasted, beating UMass 66-27. Oklahoma continues to struggle on defense as they allowed 23 points in the fourth quarter, but they still managed to beat Oklahoma 55-40. They're 10-1. They play West Virginia next weekend, and the winner of that game goes to the Big 12 championship game. LSU beat Rice 42-10. Rice, they're a cupcake at 1-11. Their season is done. Washington State, with Gardner Minshew, the man with the mustache, just riddling apart Arizona. 7 touchdown passes as Washington State at number 8 beat Arizona 69-28. Cougars are 10-1 heading into their showdown for the Apple Cup against the Huskies. Number 9, West Virginia. They got a bite of the eye. They were bitten by the underdog on Saturday, losing to Oklahoma State 45-41, allowing 21 points in the fourth quarter. Will Greer only had 2 touchdown passes and 364 yards passing. Now, the loss hurts, but is not deadly for West Virginia, as if they beat Oklahoma, they're still in the Big 12 championship game. Ohio State, they had a crazy day. They had a rally to beat Maryland. They had to do it in overtime and survived a Maryland 2-point attempt in overtime to hang on. Ohio State next week plays Michigan, of course. Both are 10-1. Winner of that game goes to the Big Ten championship game. Central Florida got a rare chance to play on primetime national television in front of the whole audience, in front of all of America. And they did what they had to do. They beat Cincinnati 38-13. They're still unbeaten at 10-0. It was Florida over Cupcake, Idaho, 63-10. Texas, 24-10 winners over Iowa State. If the Longhorns beat Kansas next weekend, they're in the Big 12 championship game against the winner of Oklahoma, West Virginia. Kentucky beat Middle Tennessee 34-23, getting back on track. Those cupcakes are mighty tasty. Washington beat Oregon State 42-23. In the snow in Boulder, it was Utah 30-7 winners over Colorado as they're inching close to reaching the Pac-12 championship game. Colorado, who once was 5-0, is now 5-6. Florida State kept their bowl hopes alive, rallying to beat Boston College 22-21 in Tallahassee. It was Mississippi State 52-6 winners over Arkansas. Arkansas 0-7 in conference play. Not been a good year for the Razorbacks, and they have to go play LSU next week. So chances are the Razorbacks are going to go winless in the SEC conference. Northwestern continues their strong play, beating Minnesota 24-14. And Utah State beat Colorado State 29-24 to remain unbeaten in the Mountain West Conference. Other Mountain West action saw Boise State on Friday beat New Mexico 45-14. Let's go walking around the conferences at games that were not necessarily. Oh, here's a game I somehow skipped over. Penn State beat Rutgers 20-7. I guess that's a good showing for Rutgers, only losing by 13, but at 1-10, Rutgers is 0-8 in conference play. Shame, shame, shame. Let's go walking around the conferences, beginning with the Mountain West Conference today. As mentioned, the two ranked teams both won. Nevada beat San Jose State 21-12. Wyoming beat Air Force 35-27, and the Air Force will not be able to get to a bowl this year with their 7th loss. Fresno State beat San Diego State 23-14, a little bit of an upset in that one. And Hawaii got back on the winning track, beating UNLV 35-28, and at 7-5, Hawaii will probably be playing in the Hawaii Bowl. How appropriate. The American had their big showcase with Central Florida beating Cincinnati on Thursday. It was Houston 48-17 over Tulane. Memphis beat SMU 28-16. Temple beat South Florida 27-17. Next week, South Florida has a chance to spoil Central Florida's hopes for an unbeaten season. Navy ended their losing streak by beating Tulsa 37-29, and it was East Carolina 55, UConn 21. Taking a look at the ACC, it was Pittsburgh clinching the Coastal Division Championship with a 34-13 win over Wake Forest. Louisville fired their coach, but still continues to allow points at just stupefying levels. 0-8 in ACC play, as NC State dropped 52 on them in a 52-10 win. Louisville will next week play Kentucky in a rivalry game. North Carolina beat Western Carolina 49-26. I believe that's a makeup from earlier in the year. Georgia Tech beat Virginia 30-27 in overtime. And Miami kept their hope dead, stopped the bleeding by beating Virginia Tech 38-14. The Hokies are all of a sudden reeling and will need to win their last 2 games just to get bowl eligibility. Big 12 Conference. Texas. Oh, I already mentioned that. TCU beat Baylor 16-9. TCU still has hopes for a bowl, and Baylor needs to win their last game. Both are 5-6. Kansas State, with rumors of Bill Snyder's job on the line, beat Texas Tech 21-6, and they're also 5-6. That's another game where both teams ended 5-6 after their game. So it's going to be interesting to see who becomes bowl eligible out of those 4. Big 10 Conference. Nebraska in the game of the day, if you like field goals, that is, beat Michigan State 9-6. Where was Sparty on Saturday? It was Iowa 63-0 winners over Illinois. Yikes. And Wisconsin rallied to beat Purdue in overtime 47-44. In Pac-12 play, it was the Battle of Los Angeles, with UCLA beating USC 34-27. USC next week takes on Notre Dame and needs to win to get bowl eligibility. Notre Dame, with a win, will get to the championship, will get to the playoffs. So there's an old thrilling rivalry that has a lot on the line. It was Oregon 31-29 winners over Arizona State. And of course, the big game between Stanford and Cal was postponed. That game will be played on December 1st now due to the wildfires up in Northern California. And of course, it was Cupcake Saturday in the SEC. One team that didn't come up good was Tennessee, who got beaten 50-17 by Missouri. Chance to be bowl eligible has gotten slipped out of their hands. As now they need to win their final game. Very disappointing performance after their win last week against Kentucky. Auburn beat Liberty 53-0. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. Texas A&M beat UAB, who is a stronger cupcake than most, but still a cupcake. Vanderbilt beat Ole Miss 36-29. Vanderbilt's 5-6. Tennessee's 5-6. They play next week. Winner's bowl eligible. Loser gets their season flushed. And South Carolina beat Chattanooga 49-9. Moving on to the NHL. And the Devils just continue to be a major letdown. Had a 2-1 lead going into the third period, allowed the Red Wings to tie the game, and then lost in overtime on Dylan Larkin's goal, 3-2. Devils I don't understand why they just can't hold third period leads. It's just aggravating and frustrating. It was the Rangers continuing their strong play at home, beating the Panthers 4-2. The Lightning needed overtime to beat the Flyers 6-5. The Sabres beat the Wild 3-2. It was the Senators 6-4 winners over the Penguins. Penguins are not playing good hockey at the moment. I mean, that's to say the least. They are under 500. And I believe they're in last place. It was the Blue Jackets 4-1 winners over the Hurricanes. Le Canadien beat the Canucks 3-2. It was the Predators 5-3 winners over the Kings. The Bruins beat the Coyotes 2-1. It was the Flames burning up the Oilers 4-2. And the Sharks blanked the Blues 4-0. Moving on to the NBA. The Nets just had the lead for 3 quarters and then just terrible fourth quarter. Allowed 37 points to the Los Angeles Clippers and lost at home 127-119. You know, the Clippers are just a bad loss for the Nets. And of course now I'm frozen. It wouldn't be one day wouldn't be complete without having one scoreboard buffer for me. I could tell you that the 76ers beat the Hornets in overtime 122-119. It was the Pacers 97-89 winners over the Hawks. The Magic beat the Lakers 130-117. It was the Pelicans 125-115 winners over the Nuggets as Anthony Davis had another 40-point night. Celtics had a big win Friday, had a big letdown Saturday, losing to the Jazz 98-86. As the Raptors rebounded from their loss in Boston, beating the Bulls 122-83. And hold on. As we limp to the finish, thanks to the worst computer in the world, HP. HP products. We make computers that don't last and are incredibly slow. HP computers. If you want to buy a computer that you want to throw out the window, buy an HP. It was the Rockets 132-112 winners over the Kings. The Mavericks beat the Warriors 112-109. And the Thunder beat the Suns 110-100. Looking at the 3 stars, it was Gardner Minshew, the man with the mustache, 473 yards passing with 7 touchdowns, as Washington State stomped all over Arizona. Kemba Walker got 60 points in a losing effort for the Hornets, adding 7 rebounds and 4 assists, as Charlotte lost to the 76ers in overtime. And Cam Atkinson had 3 goals and an assist as the Blue Jackets beat the Hurricanes 4-1. Today's birthday shout-out goes to a guy that people don't realize actually played for the Mets at the end of his career and hit number 500 with the Mets. But he's mainly known for his time with the Braves, Dodgers, Yankees, Marlins. And of course, I'm talking about Dwight Gooden's nephew. And Dwight Gooden's birthday was just a couple days ago. Gary Sheffield turns 50 on Sunday. And we take a look back to 1926 when 3 NHL stalwarts played their first games. I'm talking about the New York Rangers, the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Detroit Cougars. What's that you say? Detroit Cougars? Yep. When the Red Wings first started out, they were the Detroit Cougars. So check out the full story of Barstool Sports. That's where it's for sport. And of course, Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. And don't forget, listen to Allow Me to Be Frank, the weekly podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes. Good day.